This program was brought to you by PennyMac TPO. Visit tpo.pennymac.com to learn more about becoming a partner and starting your journey to greatness. With the people, products, and technology to take you there, it's why they say, at PennyMac, greatness lives here.
Welcome to The Interest. I'm Christine Stewart, and when I first took this job, I thought to myself, how much is there really to report on the mortgage industry? Well, it's a lot more than I could have ever imagined, and today is no different. We started this year with a headline talking about the great non-QM pig pile. Turns out, things aren't going as planned. Our own Katie Jensen caught up with some lenders at Originator Connect to find out what the future holds.
Non-QM lenders seem to be dropping like flies, stirring fear amongst loan originators and brokers. But the experts who spoke at Originator Connect's Non-QM Summit explained what exactly is happening with secondary investors and why people shouldn't fear the market shift.
No, the market is not in trouble. Yet we did have a screaming interest rate hike.
Eric Morganson, Vice President of Business Development and Production for Angel Oak Mortgage Solutions, says it takes months to sell off loans to the secondary market. By the time these lower interest non-QM mortgages are pooled together and sold, secondary investors don't want them. They want loans at a more recent 6% rate rather than a 4% rate.
If you're an investor, are you going to buy the loans at 4.5% or the ones that are at 6.5% today? So that's what happened.
Morganson says this is why non-QM lenders are having a tough time getting their loans funded by investors, causing some companies like Sprout and Cypress Mortgage to shut down. Without loyal capital partners, funding may be unreliable for certain lenders.
Possibly. I don't know the balance sheet of my frenemies, my friendly competitors out there, but boy, I don't know how long you can warehouse bank statement loans with rates in the 4s.
To avoid partnering with a lender who has unreliable funding, Senior Vice President of Development and Strategy for NewFi, Dan Bayer, says you must know your partner.
Know the history of the company, know the leadership, know the risk tolerance, and make sure you're working with the right business partner.
So who should you look to partner with?
You want to partner with a non-QM or a non-agency lender that has a committed capital partner. What you want is one that has a clear foundation with a partner that will buy 100% of the loans that they fund and lock, for that matter.
Above all, it's important to remember the non-QM market does not have a credit problem. So we should not expect a subprime crisis like the one we saw in 2008.
In subprime days, 100% LTV or CLTV was quite common. There was no skin in the game. Today, our average LTV, 75 to 80% LTV range. Borrowers have skin in the game. They're not walking away.
Morganson says this is the best time to get into non-QM as a broker or loan originator, since they are widely underserved.
They're told no by traditional lenders, and they don't know that these programs exist.
But are these loans attractive? Unlike secondary investors, brokers and loan officers don't like seeing rising rates. Consumers don't either. But Bayer says buyers don't shop for rates. They shop for low monthly payments.
Someone says, I want the best rate in town. That's not what they're saying. They say, I want the best payment in town. What's the lowest payment you can get me in to put me into my dream home?
Non-QM borrowers encompass self-employed and gig economy workers. Senior Vice President of Acra Lending, Steve Cutter, gave the audience at Originator Connect a few tips on how you can find leads in this new market.
If I was a loan officer, first thing I would do is go to California Secretary of State and look up every self-employed business owner. Okay, self-employed people, because they don't show a lot on their tax returns, don't think they can get these loans. And so if you're out there and you're presenting to them that you could actually do their loan based on the cash flow of their business, I think that would be a great way to start.
There are plenty of new lead sources you can use, Cutter says.
Realtors, bankruptcy attorneys, CPAs, across the board. There's so many opportunities with non-QM, with private lending, that it's just getting out there and mixing it up a little bit.
You can learn more tips on mastering the non-QM market by checking out our webinars or finding Originator Connect events near you. For the Mortgage News Network, I'm Katie Jensen.
In other news, mortgage delinquencies are creeping back up. Black Knight reported that the national mortgage delinquency rate increased nearly 2% in July. That's just above the record low set in May. Serious delinquencies, loans 90 or more days past due but not yet in active foreclosure, totaled 594,000 in July, a decline of less than 1%. That's after worsening in June for the first time in 22 months. To put it in perspective, delinquencies are still down more than 30% from this time last year. Mortgage applications decreased for the second straight week, remaining at a 22-year low as refinancing applications continued to plunge. Mortgage applications decreased 1.2% from last week. Meanwhile, the refinance index decreased 3% from the previous week and was 83% lower than the same week last year. And finally, when will the housing market hit the bottom? Pending home sales declined for the second consecutive month in July and for the 8th time in the last 9 months. The National Association of Realtors reported that year over year, all 4 regions in the country saw double-digit dips in sales, the largest of which occurred in the West. This month's very modest decline reflects the recent retreat in mortgage rates. Inventories are growing for homes in the upper price ranges, but limited supply at lower price points is hindering transaction activity. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
This program was brought to you by PennyMac TPO. Visit tpo.pennymac.com to learn more about becoming a partner and starting your journey to greatness.
For more on these and all of today's top stories, visit themortgagenewsnetwork.com.